Hi, welcome to the Improved Garage YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Today we're going to be unboxing the rack, the wall mount rack that's going to be going at my friend's house, where we're going to be installing the distributed audio system. So we'll open this up, I'll show you what I chose and why I chose it, and unbox it. So this rack is a V7. It's from Amazon, but you can get them from a bunch of different places. It's a V7.5. The model is RMWC6U. I'll link to it in the description. And it is a network rack. And network racks come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. You can get them with doors, without doors. You can get tall ones, short ones, wall mount ones, ones that sit on the floor. Variety of different configurations. So this is what we're going to be mounting in my friend's shed. So inside the box there's decent packing material. There's all of these corners that kind of keep it away. The box is pretty thin. It got beat up by Amazon. There's a nice rip in it. But it's nice to see that the unit itself is pretty unscathed. So this is a pretty simple rack. It's about $100, give or take, somewhere in that neighborhood, 120. They make them with glass fronts. They make them taller, shorter, a variety of different ways, and those obviously have different price points. So this rack is the mesh model. So it has mesh sides, mesh front instead of the glass sides and glass front, but you know it's going in a shed. It'll be perfectly fine. This is really just to protect the equipment from you know, a rake or something falling and hitting something. So there's these little doors on the sides where you can get in and work on the side of the equipment or the back of the equipment to give you some room. All of these doors are removable. There's pins on the top and bottom that you can lift up, and they're spring loaded. They are also lockable with a key. On the back side, it has mounting holes, and these mounting holes will mount to the studs in the garage. In some cases this might not line up, and you might have to do like a block across the studs to make this line up. So you know, oftentimes when we're doing them in businesses or houses or something along those lines, you end up having to put a 2x4 strip across and get both studs or 3 studs, and then you know, put this in. But these are 16-inch centers, so that should work just fine. Some construction might not be 16. On the front we have this door, and again this door is removable, so we'll just pop the pin and pull the door out, and you can see the inside of the rack. So this is a 6U rack. So the term U, U stands for one rack unit, and a rack unit is like 1.9 inches. It's basically the distance between here and here. It's like 3 of these holes, and I realized that that's a little hard to see on the camera, so let me see if I can make it better. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, so that's one rack unit. It's these 3. So most of the time when you're buying network equipment, it will be rack mountable, and it will have a certain number of rack units that it takes up. So something like an amplifier might take 2, 3, 4 rack units. Something small like a network switch is usually 1 rack unit. And that's a standard unit of measurement that is used to help you to size racks and figure out what you need and mount your equipment appropriately, and etc., etc. In here there are keys. It looks like everything is keyed exactly the same, but there are 3 sets of keys, 1 for each door. So we do have those. So the doors are lockable. And then we do have a hardware kit as well. And the hardware kit is going to make a mess here, but I'll show what they give you in the hardware kit. So As I mentioned, racks are available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some people choose to put them on the ground. Some people choose to mount them on the wall. In this case, we're going to be mounting them on the wall. It does come with wheels. They're nice wheels. They've got, bearings in them. They've got locks on them. So, those are something nice that we can hang on to. All 4 of them swivel and all 4 of them lock. They give you these, they're like an expanding bolt. And this is designed to go through plywood and compress this metal ring on the back of the plywood and bolt this to the wall. In our case, we're going to be mounting directly to studs, so we'll be using hardware designed to do that. Usually I use something like these construction lags. They work fairly well. They're self-tapping, so they don't need pre-drills. And then in here, this is all mounting hardware for the equipment that we're going to actually be mounting inside the rack. There are washers included, and there are bolts included for things like adding fans or, etc. So we do kind of have a little bit of extra hardware that we're not going to need, but we can, kind of get this rack prepped. In our case, we're going to have a power strip and some other equipment that's in here, and we'll get it, kind of set up. So most racks include these things called cage nuts. These cage nuts kind of clip into the rails on the side of the rack. You'll see these holes that are marked 1, so we can put them in, and they just kind of squeeze into place. And then what you end up doing is you take your equipment that's going to be mounted in the rack and you bolt it in using these bolts. So in many cases, you can load the rack and kind of get it ready ahead of time. In this case, I'm going to leave the rack empty because I need the ability to bolt the rack to the wall. But this is how you would add a piece of equipment to a rack. It's by installing these nuts where appropriate, and then mounting your hardware as appropriate. So the next thing that we'll unbox is the power strip rack mount surge protector, and that'll allow me to show kind of how they go in and mount and what that looks like. So let's get that unboxed here. So rack mount power strips are available in 2 flavors. Well, they're available in more than 2, but there are 2 major ones. There's what's called a PDU, which is a power distribution unit, and then there is a surge protector. This is a surge protector. Surge protector protects your gear from surges, from lightning strikes, from things like that. PDU distributes power. They're not all surge protectors are usually PDUs. Not all PDUs are surge protectors. That's kind of the difference. So this is designed to provide surge protection as well as distribute power. So we've got 8 outlets on the back. We've got 6 outlets on the front. This is an IB8302, model number DRS-1215. This is a trip light. A lot of companies make these. APC is popular, Trip Light is popular, Cyber Power is popular. There are a variety of brands that have these units. I like the Trip Light ones. I've had good luck with them. That doesn't mean that they're better than the others or worse than the others. It's just that I've had good luck with them. I have 2 APCs that are sitting here bolted to the wall that are, responsible for my power on my workbench. Those have never given me a problem, and they work really well. I find the Trip Light ones tend to be less expensive, and they have a very similar quality to them. So we've got our PDU. We'll get our screws started, and I'm just going to screw in this one unit to kind of show how the rack goes together and things mount. So we've got our cage nuts installed in our 4 holes. We could use 2 holes if we want to, but top and bottom is pretty standard in our industry. That's it. They don't have to be torqued like crazy. They just, you know, tighten them down. They stay in place. There's like some spring to them, so they keep themselves tight. This has an on-off button here. The cover on the on-off button is a little cracked, but other than that, pretty good. The rack does have, you can see it installed there. The rack does have like a door on the bottom and a door on the top that you can use to run the wires through. And like I mentioned, the front doors are removable. So we'll put this in here and all of this hardware. And we will save the rest of the equipment installation until we're on site at his house and actually ready to do so.